Hello, everyone. My name is Cody, the host of The Faces. Entrepreneurs are people too. And if you're watching this video, it's because you're considering being a guest. So let's talk about it. Why be a guest on the podcast? Why the entrepreneurs? And if yes to those whys, then should we talk about how the logistics go? Let's cover that. First and foremost, why be a guest on the podcast? The one thing that I love about what has become of the podcast is that it's really become a catalyst for people to find investors, people to invest, people to hire people, people to get clients. It's just become such a hub of entrepreneur activity that you being on the podcast gives you a very good advantage just by coming on and have some conversation with me, right? We're going to have an awesome opportunity to talk about you, share your story, your journey, as an entrepreneur, as a person, and how those two have maybe conflicted and complemented at times. I personally know that there are moments in my life where I've swore against my business, and there's moments of my life where I'm very happy that it was there for me. Gave me a reason to focus, gave me energy to pour into something, because maybe my personal life wasn't going that well, right? As is life. But, one of the big things that most people ask me is, why did I start a podcast in the first place? Well, besides from my inherent desire to talk, I did it mostly because I wanted my internal staff at the organization to understand more about our clients. And since we primarily work with the legal, finance, and accounting industry, I thought it was a good thing to just talk to some of those folks. It's important to me as I continue to grow my organization and the people inside there that our culture focuses around the fact that these clients of ours, they're not just numbers on an invoice. They're real humans. And understanding them, serving their business means we should kind of get them a little bit as well. And so we started this podcast, we started interviewing folks, and it just was so much fun that we just had to turn it into a legitimate thing. Now we generally will watch podcasts throughout the week, get everyone's feedback, talk about them, and especially because rarely people on our podcast become one of our clients. Now the entire team gets to see this person as they share who they are, and it makes such a beautiful way for us to better commit ourselves to serving our clients. Now, for the podcast itself, we get to now serve this bustling subscriber base that has become the faces, right? We've been able to amass a large group of folks who love our podcast and enjoy viewing the entrepreneurs who come on. These entrepreneurs are folks who want to be entrepreneurs, so they have the entrepreneurial spirit, but not the investment to the business yet. People who are entrepreneurs that maybe have a hustle culture, a little side business, or folks who have just recently started a business and they're trying to find alignment with some of the struggles that they have in their everyday life in their business. I myself, I love learning from the people who come on the podcast every time. So by being able to sit here and talk to them, I myself get the value from that every day. And I know our subscribers do as well. Now, on the other side of this, we have the logistics of the podcast. Like, how is this going to go? Oftentimes people want to know what questions are going to be asked. What should I say? Well, first and foremost, it's important to understand that we don't push any special agendas, books, or political opinions on this podcast. I myself am a trail mixed bag of all of those things. And our clients, our guests who come on, sometimes mixing between my brain here, the guests who come on, they're also a mixture of many things. And so we allow you to come in and represent who you are, but we don't promote anything. When you come on, I start off simply with an introduction statement, right? Cody, basis, telehelping sponsor, who are we talking with here today? When that takes place, you get to give us a 2 to 3 minute spill on who you are on the business side and who you are on the personal side. And then I run with those tangents and we talk for about 30 minutes. If about 20 minutes into the actual recording, we haven't dived too deep into the personal or dove too deep into the business, I'll turn the ship to that topic. Most people want to jump into business right away. Some people don't want to jump into business at all, and they want to talk just about themselves and their journey. Completely fine, right? But we do want to highlight both sides of you because the whole idea of the faces is that there's more than one, right? So we'll talk about that. And at the end, I'll also thank you for your time and I'll say goodbye, but I'm only saying goodbye to the recording, not to you. Please hang out. We'll talk about next steps in case that you've forgotten this video, which mostly are when we're going to launch your podcast, the review process that you'll undertake in approving some of the content that we'll be creating. And of course, if necessary, if we are busy, setting an approval meeting just so we can have a 15-minute call and talk about the content we're approving and posting. Now, one key element that I always like to highlight for the podcast is there may be a time where I want to interject. And when this takes place, I want you to know that I'm not trying to interrupt you or in any way to be rude. I'm simply trying to highlight a sage, important point that maybe you've made in your conversation. And we don't want to just glaze over that. I want to make sure that the audience and subscribers here get what they came for and understanding that, having you park and elaborate on what you said can be very important to maybe some of the challenges or the ideas that they're facing. So when I start chatting, don't fight me for the mic. Just give me a moment to kind of reverse and talk about what you said. Now, that's the gist. That's everything. That is the podcast. It's coffee and a conversation. So if you're interested in being on the podcast, the process is simple. If you're watching this on our webpage, you'll find at the top right-hand corner a button that says Become a Guest. Click that and complete the form. Once you do so, we'll send you a pre-meeting. We'll sit down and you and I'll have a conversation just to make sure that this is right for us, as well as you. On the other side of that, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can go to thefaces.com. That's thefacespodcast.com. We'll also have a link in the bio here. And then you can look over some of the things we've posted as well as the website. And if you decide you want to be a guest, go through the ad mentioned process for becoming a guest. Now, once you're on the pre-meeting and we think you'd be a wonderful guest, what we would do is we would just, set a time. What day works well for you? I try not to book out more than 30 days in advance because who the heck knows what's going to happen 30 days from now? And we try not to reschedule and cancel podcasts because they are set in stone. And then replacing those dates can be very difficult. So if you are going to be a guest, please commit to a time that you can absolutely commit to. We understand that, emergency happens. I'm a walking emergency, right? We understand that those things can happen, but we ask that you try not to reschedule if you can avoid it. So after that, that's it. We set a scheduled date. We come on here and we hit record and boom, we have a conversation. And that's the Faces podcast. I hope that you do consider being a guest and I'm looking forward to chatting with you on our pre-call. And thank you for considering the Faces.